water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is your reading for August 2021, and I hope it helps. I'm going to be moving my weekly reading series to my Patreon, so I'll go ahead and link that in the bio down below if you want to check that out. Feel free to do it. Also, I'm contemplating doing all 12 signs at the top of the month, so if that's something that you're interested in, please comment below, let me know, and if people are interested in it, I will do it. Okay, water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Let's see what's good for August. What are you going through this month? What is the current energy for water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio? Feels like we're adding in some new things, water signs. Ooh, a spiritual connection, perhaps? All right, let's see what we got. We got spiritual connection, deep love, soulmates, unity, one day, somewhere, someday, somewhere, another time. I think for a lot of water signs, we are, not me, because I'm not a water sign, starting new relationships, right? We are starting new connections, maybe new friendships, maybe something that you wanted for a long time is now kind of coming in, something that you've been preparing for, purifying for, is finally starting to make its way towards you. You can see it, you can have it, you can speak to them, you can, it's in your hand, and you're feeling very connected. What else? What else is going on with the water signs? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Take that many cards, but I guess we're taking them. Okay, so the cards that flew out, we have the Nine of Cups. This is something that you wanted, something that's making you content, and you're getting to see a new perspective. Okay, you might be dealing with the Pisces here. You might be the Pisces that's very content at the moment, but you are gaining a new perspective on things. Maybe before you saw things one way, and now you're kind of starting to understand that they're different. Maybe you're getting something that you've always wanted, and it's looking a little bit different than what you thought it was going to look like. All right, you are thinking about energy exchange. You are wondering whether the give and take is fair, whether the give and take is what you want, whether it's almost like you really wanted something and it was really shiny, and now that you have it, you're kind of like, oh, this is an interesting exchange. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a bad exchange, just that it's kind of like, oh, it's not really what I expected. I have the Queen of Cups here, water energy. You might be dealing with another water sign, but you're being asked to be very mature about your feelings and to be very honest about your feelings, because I think you really understand that what you're doing this time around is building a foundation. You're working towards building something that has the potential to be celebrated, to be strong, and part of building this foundation, part of creating this new reality, it's requiring you to be selfish. It's requiring you to advocate for yourself. It's requiring you to say, okay, what do I get out of it? Okay, because I need to be sure this time around that I get what I need from it, that I'm not the one that is getting screwed over or giving too much or taking too much. I want to be fair, right? Another energy here is having to take a good look at yourself. How are you contributing things? How are things looking on your side of the grass? How are things looking in your home, in your work, right? How are things looking with your exchanges, with your payments? Are your bills being paid? Are your fees being paid? Is your energy fair? Okay. Let's see what the challenge is. It's a lot of cards. What's the challenge for the water signs? Challenge for August. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Distance. Okay, so your challenge is barrier, separation, space, underlying energy. We have rejection, irrational fear, saying no, dismissal. So I'm getting a couple of things, okay? One of them is that you need space and you don't want the other person to feel rejected. So that's kind of like, it's putting you in your head a little bit. The other thing is that you also maybe need space, like you don't want to make a decision yet, you don't want to jump in yet. And you don't want that to cost you this opportunity, which I guess essentially is kind of the same thing, right? But the challenge is that you kind of do need some space, okay? Challenge for the water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. the Ace of Pentacles, what am I saying? This opportunity, this new promotion, this new relationship, this new money, this new chance, right? It's almost like you feel like you need space in order for you to have it truly, honestly, fully. You feel like maybe you feel like you have been rejected from a new opportunity. Maybe you feel like you have been left out, like there has been a distance or something that you've been separated from. And so that's challenging for you. It's making you question your worth. But what it really feels like is what I said the first time, which is that you really actually need space. You need some time to think things through. You know, this fire energy is feeling very rigid. It's maybe a little bit too fiery for the water signs. And so you're like, dang, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like if I, ask for space, if I create some barriers, maybe it's going to mess things up, right? What is the advice for the water signs? Okay, so the first message I got here is unspoken in reverse, and this is regrets, lost words, disappointment in reverse. And then I have deja vu. Both of them are Sophia. Past life, karmic lessons, repeated patterns. So I think that the conversation that you need to have is a real conversation, an honest conversation. You need to first become aware of your own patterns, right? First become aware of what it is that you need, what your patterns are, what your boundaries are, what your needs are, and then have an honest conversation about it. Right? Have a direct conversation. Don't leave anything hidden in the corner, Scorpios. Don't leave anything under the rug, okay? Don't repress the feeling, okay? You need to have a conversation about patterns. Now, if you can't have this conversation directly with the person for whatever reason, it's really important that you have this conversation with yourself. What are your patterns? What are your boundaries? What are your things that you need to do when you say, okay, let me talk to myself. Let me look in the mirror at myself and say, okay, listen, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to do it. This is what I'm feeling. And if we keep doing things this way, it's not going to work. So maybe it's about also having that conversation with yourself, liberating yourself, freeing yourself, roaming wild, considering all the possibilities. Also consider the possibilities of being honest with this person, of having this conversation with this person, okay? You don't want to repeat the pattern. And part of the way that you're going to avoid repeating the pattern is by being upfront when these feelings come up. Okay, now finding the words is a hard part, right? Advice for the water signs: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You've been hurt. That's one thing. Something has hurt you, and so that is also scary. Working as a team with somebody is also scary. Putting in the work, right? 3 of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles. 2 threes. You create your reality based on how you what decision you make, what action you make, right? And in this time around, it's important to take a different approach. It's important to look at things in a different light, to consider the pain that you've survived, to consider the different groups that you've been a part of, the different partnerships, right? And to be honest with yourself about what this brings out in you. 8 of Pentacles is putting in the work. This is what putting in the work looks like in relationships. Okay, if this is your job, a job situation, it's important for you to put in the work, to have the conversations, to seek the mentorship, to have an open and honest discussion. We talk about open and honest discussions. We talk about radical honesty, at least I do. And then sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you don't feel like being open and honest, or having that discussion. And I think it's really important to nail down the details of how you're feeling, of what you're thinking, of what it is that you want, of what your boundary is. And with Venus and Virgo, specifically in our relationships, it might sound a little crazy right now, and I think this is going to also lessen up over time. It might sound a little bit crazy right now to be like, hey, I think it's important for us to see each other just once a week or twice a week. I think, only weekends or whatever it is. It might seem very rigid and kind of crazy, but I think with Venus and Virgo, it's setting us up for success so that we don't overindulge, so that we don't move too quickly, so that we don't burn each other out, because there are other things going on outside of romance, right? If we're talking about romance, If this is directly with work, this is about also building a work-life balance that is healthy, right? One where you can focus on the details when you're at work, but the email, the phone calls end at the time that you're supposed to be done. All right, so discuss the patterns, have a talk, you know, also talk about where you're hurting, where it's causing damage, where it's not working for you. Okay, outcome for the water signs for the month of August. Ooh, look at this. Epiphanies, realizations, understandings, awakenings, and purifying. Purge, healing, clean energy. Look it. When you finally have these discussions, when you finally feel open and honest about what it is that you're doing, what happens is you realize more about yourself. You realize more about the people that you're dealing with. You realize how much you've healed. You purify the energy that is kind of toxic, the energy of like people pleasing, you know. It gives you an opportunity to clear your space in a way that is conducive to yourself. And it gives you the realizations that you need. Okay, what's the outcome for the water signs, please? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Ooh, look at that. 3 of Cups, celebration, gatherings, community, joy, and then 7 of Cups, options. More and more options, okay? So I think what happens is that you're able to clear the shelf, clear some space, be honest and open about your intentions. So then by the end of the month, when we have Venus and Mercury in Libra, right? And we want to be social, and we want to connect with people, and we want to talk, and we want to build, then we can. All these options are available. We don't feel limited to whatever, you know, commitments that we made that weren't commitments that we wanted to make. We just did them because, I don't know, we thought we were supposed to. No, instead we're having discussions. Instead we're building. Instead we're connecting. We are taking on more options. We're connecting with our siblings, right? We're building more businesses. There may be, you know, some people that are not totally happy, right, with how you're choosing to structure things, but this is what boundaries look like, okay? And it's not about making everybody happy. I think that's what you're going to learn this month, is that your worth is worth more than just making everybody happy. All right? Okay, water signs, well, I hope that was helpful. Again, my weekly readings are going to be up on Patreon. They will be based on the week. I'll also have like short versions that you can watch in 1 minute. I also will be doing moon rituals that will be hosted on there, so go ahead and check me out. I'll put the link down below. If you appreciated this reading, please comment. Anything is, you know, validating to me. Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful August. If I don't see you on Patreon, I'll see you in September.